Many homages are becoming either too original with their interpretations of iconic timepieces, or the watchmakers skim the details and serve us, the wearers, with half-baked products, with abundant shortcuts and cost-saving elements. This Pagani design I'll show you today is not that. This relatively inexpensive homage watch is not skimping on premium materials. Design aesthetics are not compromised. The overall package is a pleasant surprise to me and probably you as well by the end of this review. The PD serves us with a self-winding automatic movement by Seiko, the NH35. We get sapphire crystal and finally a sapphire crystal Cyclops. A beautiful baby blue sunburst dial color, the pastel tone is so subtle and elegant, beating the louder and attention-grabbing colors. A 41mm case diameter is in line with the original, allowing for a more prominent presence, yet still compact for the more slender wrists. A stainless steel case and bracelet, screw-down exhibition case back, and a screw-in crown. This is what we get on this value-packed watch. Now, I picked it up for $52. That is an ultimately sharp price for the looks, the materials, and generally this whole package. This is a beautiful watch. I want to say handsome, but it is really beautiful because of that dial color. That pastel blue, baby blue, sky blue, whatever you want to name it, is just good. It's so pure. I like that. Anyways, $52. I've left the link to the listing I got this watch from in the description below the video, so please do check it out if you're after a sharp price. And now let's get into a comprehensive review of this Pagani designed watch. With regards to the dimensions, we get a diameter of 41mm, a lug-to-lug measurement of 54mm due to the protruding end links, a height of 11.3mm but 12.5 with the Cyclops, a lug width of 20mm tapering down to 16mm of the bracelet at the clasp, a weight of 150 grams before I've removed any links to fit my 6.5-inch wrist. Of course, the lug-to-lug measurement could be shorter, no doubt. The protruding end links are not doing any favors for the timepiece. Yet, if we take a look at how the watch sits on my 6.5-inch wrist, which is quite slender, there are no overhang issues. The downward pointing lugs and the pivoting end links provide for a snug fit on the more slender wrists. Notice how this handsome Jubilee style bracelet drapes my wrist, following the wrist contours for a very comfortable fit. But if we do take a side step and looks aside, the tolerances are not quite best in class on the bracelet. There is quite a bit of articulation around the pins. The advantage of this is that the bracelet can conform to a wide variety of wrists and is very comfortable to wear. The disadvantage, though, is the visual gaps that we can see between the links. But where the bracelet lacks in tolerances, it makes up for it with a signed folding clasp. The wing is milled as well. The security latch is refined and convenient to use. The locking is performed with a solid and sincere thump. The central links are polished and complement the polished case and fluted bezel of the watch. Gazing down at the watch, we see the prominent and distinctive case shape. The fluted bezel with its intricate light play overhangs the north and south end links, but there's no bezel lip overhang on the flanks. As a result, the case design looks elegant and lean. Looking at the profile, we see the convex flanks, not cushion-like, yet the gentle rounding adds elegance and class. The lugs are downward slanting, creating an arch from one side to the opposite lug. The transition to lug hoods is done via smooth and rounded bevels. There are no sharp corners or edges anywhere on this case. On the right, we get a screw-in side crown. It's larger than average at 6.3mm in diameter, but that suits the 41mm case size. The threading is not too fine and hence complementing the fluted bezel just above it. On the underside, we are greeted with an exposed view of the engine room with an exhibition case back. The rotor is signed with the movement specifications, specifically the NH35A. On the perimeter, we read the other specs like 100 meters water resistance, case and back stainless steel material, and the brand name. The crystal on the back is mineral glass, so no sapphire sandwich today. The crystal on the front is sapphire though, a flat slab of scratch-resistant glass, a hairline above the fixed fluted bezel. My personal big thank you to the brand for placing a sapphire crystal Cyclops at 3 o'clock. Too many brands skimp on this detail, and that's just so frustrating. The magnification is also just right at about 2.5 times magnification. And let's drop down to the gorgeous dial via a deep and brushly hole. The dial texture appears matte, yet still there is a subtle sunburst effect. On the listing there are actually 4 dial colors available, so you can get a black, a navy blue, a white, and of course this pastel light blue. This blue requires special mention. The pastel shade is soft and evokes a sense of calmness, serenity even. This delicate hue is associated with freshness, purity. Essentially, I'm in love with it. The dial features a printed minitrack on the periphery with single battens applied for the hours. At 3 o'clock, the batten is replaced with a date window. The batten hands and indices have loomed inserts and are edged in chrome. The white loom inserts provide sufficient contrast and crystal clear legibility to the dial. As for the loom, not bad at all. It's not too bright, yet the longevity is passable for the $50 price category. So what do you think of this watch? Because in my eyes, I think this is definitely a good buy. There are some minuses, but there are plenty of pluses. Let's start with the minuses. This lug-to-lug measurement of 54mm, not ideal. I agree. The protruding end links, not doing it any favors. Yet, because of the slanting down lugs and the pivoting bracelet, that is sort of, well, cancelled out. Still, it could have been smaller, agreed. But the color, the fluted bezel, the sapphire crystal Cyclops, wow, great. The bracelet, I am actually really enjoying it. Now, I did mention that, yeah, there are visual gaps, yes, but only when this is in your hand. But when the bracelet is on your wrist, the articulating links actually make it such a comfortable and snug fit, and there are no visual gaps when the bracelet is on top of your wrist. So yeah, that's the watch. $50 I think is a very sharp price. I've left the link in the description below the video. Check it out if you're after a sharp price. Thanks for watching the review, and I'll see you in the next one.